You know the feeling when someone is so close to buying, they clicked on your ad, they joined your list, they showed up for your thing, and then nothing? They just disappear. And you're sitting there wondering, like, what the heck happened? They were right there. They were so close. Well, here's what I want you to know. Most of the time, it's not your offer, it's not your funnel, and it's not even your messaging. There is a gap. And the gap is the time it's taking from people to go from I'm interested to I am in. And that gap is where money is leaking. And today we are talking about exactly how to close that gap. Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the show. It's Michelle. I am so happy that you're here with me today because we are going to be getting into something that I think about constantly. And I honestly feel it's one of the most overlooked things in online businesses. And once you hear this, I promise you are going to see it everywhere in your own business. People come to me and they say, Michelle, I feel like things are just slow. Like everything is kind of working, but I don't know what isn't. Like sales feel inconsistent, cash flow is all over the place, something's off, and I can't quite put my finger on it. And the first place their brain goes is I need more leads, I need a new funnel, and I either need to fix my offer or get a new offer. And I get it. I totally get it. That's where we all go, right? We're looking to solve the problem or what we think the problem is. But most of the time, that's not actually the problem. The problem is velocity, conversion velocity. So what does that mean? It's super simple. Conversion velocity is how fast someone moves from I'm interested to I'm totally in, right? Let's go. And that's it. How long does it take someone to go from finding you, like clicking on your ad, joining your list, watching your content, to actually buying? Because here's the truth. The longer the gap is, the more opportunity for things to fall apart. Like life happens, they get distracted, they second guess, they forget about you entirely. And then you're trying to rewarm someone who was literally right there, practically ready. So that is not a messaging problem. That is a velocity problem. And here's why this matters so much more than most people realize. Let me give you a real quick picture, okay? Say you have 100 leads and a 10% conversion rate. That's 10 sales, right? That's great. But here's the question. How long did it take for those 10 sales to happen? If it takes 30 days, your business feels completely different than if it took 3 days, right? The same funnel, same offer, same conversion rate, completely different cash flow, completely different energy that you show up with, and a completely different confidence. Now, when things are moving, you feel it. You feel the momentum. Your business feels alive. When things are dragging, even if the numbers technically say it's working, it doesn't feel like it's working. And that feeling, that's a velocity problem. And it is so fixable. Okay, so let's talk about where velocity actually breaks down. Because there are 4 places that I see this happen over and over and over again. And once I walk you through these, you are going to know exactly where to look for it in your own business. The first one, I call it I'll come back later moment, right? Someone clicks, they're interested, they land on your page and nothing pulls them or pushes them forward. There's no clear next step, no reason to act right now, nothing creating that forward energy. So what do? So what do they do, right? They'll say, okay, I'll come back to this later because there's no urgency. And we both know what that means. It usually means they will never come back. And this happens more than people realize. And it's so quiet that you don't even notice that it's happening. The second one is what I call the overthinking phase. And this one is sneaky because it feels like everything is going right? Your content gets them curious, they clicked, they're paying attention, but now they're spinning in their whole own head, right? It's like, do I really need this? Is this right for me right now? What if this doesn't work for my specific business? And here's what causes that. too many options, too many steps, too many things that they have to figure out on their own. When someone has to do a lot of mental work just to figure out what to do next, they pause every single time. Your job is not to hand them the map and say, good luck, right? Peace out. Your job is to walk them there. Now, the third thing is dead space between touch points. Now, this is a big one. Someone opts in, and then there's this gap before they hear from you again. They show up to your event, and then there's silence. They click a link, and nothing really happens next, right? That dead space is where momentum goes to die. That gap is where I'm really interested slowly becomes, I forgot what even that thing was, or what is her name, right? I forgot her name. I kind of remember about this thing, and I don't even remember her name to go follow her. So every hour of silence after someone takes an action is an opening for doubt and distraction to move in. And the fourth one is the manual bottleneck. Everything depends on you. You replying, you following up, you checking messages when you have a free 5 minutes, which we all know that that's like few and far between. And while you're living your life, sleeping, being with your family, traveling, whatever you do, your leads are cooling off. So velocity cannot live in this manual to-do list. It just can't sustain itself there. Okay, so now, how do we actually fix this? And this is what I love about this conversation, because this is where I want you to take a breath, okay? You do not need to blow up your funnel. You definitely don't need to start over. You do not need a massive overhaul. These are 1% shifts, intentional tweaks that create a faster, smoother path for the people who are already interested in what you do. So fix number 1, immediate momentum. The second someone shows interest, something needs to happen right then, not later that day, not tomorrow, right in that moment, because interest has a shelf life, a very, really short one. So look at your funnel and your automations and ask yourself, if someone opts in right now, what do they see immediately after? Is there a clear next step? If someone watches your video, what are they being invited to do next? If someone clicks on a link, where does it take them? Does it move them forward, or does that leave them hanging? There should never be a moment where someone is sitting there thinking, okay, now what, right? You want to carry that energy forward while it's hot without distracting them with something else. Fix number 2 is decision simplicity. Now, confusion is a conversion killer. And I say this all the time, and I totally mean it. When there are too many paths, too many options, too many places to go, people freeze. And here's the thing. We often add more options thinking we're either being helpful or giving ourselves a better chance for those conversions. Like, here's more ways to work with me. Here's some more resources, right? But what your audience actually needs is clarity. One path, one outcome, one obvious next step. Make the decision feel easy, like, oh yeah, that's clear. That's clearly what I need to do next, right? We're guiding people through the door, not handing them a clipboard at the entrance. All right, fix number 3 are these continuous touch points. Momentum comes from staying in proximity. When someone enters your world, they should feel like they're moving, like things are progressing. They opt in, they hear from you immediately. They attend your event, they get that follow-up the same day. They click a link, something is triggered. There is always a next step. No gaps, no dead air. That consistency, that feeling that something is always happening, that's what keeps getting people engaged long enough to actually make a buying decision. People don't fall out of love with your offer, they just lose the thread. Your job is to keep handing it back to them. Now, fix number 4 is automated momentum. This is where it all comes together, because velocity is not about you working harder or being more available. It's about your systems doing the work. When someone takes action, something happens automatically. They sign up, they're welcomed, and they move forward. They show interest but don't buy, then they're re-engaged. They click a certain link and your system knows and it responds. You are building a flow that keeps people moving while you're sleeping, while you're on a call, while you're on vacation, living your life. And this is where I see so much revenue sitting on the table, completely unclaimed. Because the assumption is, if they don't buy right away, they must not be interested. And that is almost always never true. They just lost the momentum. And a smart automated sequence picks that right back up. Now, I have to talk about live events for a second because this is one of my absolute favorite velocity tools, and it is so misunderused. Is that a word, misunderused? Or it's so underused. How about that? Whether it's a webinar, a workshop, a masterclass, maybe even a live Q&A, live just does something different. When people show up in real time, they are present. They are making decisions in the moment. There's no, oh, I'll come back later to this energy. They're there right now. And when someone is live with you, hearing your voice, feeling your energy, getting their questions answers, trust builds so much faster. They're not left wondering like, is this legit or is she legit? They're actually experiencing it. When you do this consistently, like weekly, bi-weekly, whatever rhythm works for your business, you have created a recurring environment where people are always moving forward. You're not waiting for sales to come to you. You're creating the conditions for them on purpose, on a schedule. That is a completely different relationship with your revenue. And here's the part I really want you to hear, because this is the part that surprises most people. When you fix velocity, you choose to close gaps. You don't always need more leads. You start getting more out of what you already have. And the people who are already interested will convert faster. Sales feel easier and cash flow becomes so much more predictable. And you stop feeling like you're chasing people because you built the system that keeps them moving forward with you. Having to personally nudge every single person, like who wants to do that, right? That's what momentum actually feels like. So here's the shift I want to leave you with. Most people are out there focused on getting more attention, more visibility, more leads, more eyeballs. And yes, that totally matters. I'm not saying that it doesn't, or you should stop doing that. But if people are already raising their hands, they're already clicking, they're showing up, they're in your world, the question isn't how do you get more people? The question is how quickly am I helping the people I already have to move forward? Every gap, every moment of dead air, every unclear next step, it all slows everything down. You don't need more interest. You need to stop letting the interest you already have go cold. So tighten that up and everything starts to feel different, faster, cleaner, and more consistent. That, my friend, is what creates real sustainable momentum in your business. Okay, here is your 1% action for today. I want you to pick one moment in your current funnel where there is a gap, just one. Maybe it's right after they opt in, people land somewhere and there's no clear next step, right? Maybe it's after your live event and there's no follow-up going on that same day. Maybe it's where your email sequence, right? Where things go quiet for a few days. Find one gap. And this week, add a next step. One email, one redirect, one automated message. That's it. That's your 1%. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be a whole new system. Just plug one hole and notice what shifts. All right. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. Keep leaning into those tiny tweaks and stacking those 1% wins. Until next time, let's grow your business together.